was so excited because you guys were excited as well. So you gave me that motivation and that energy that I got nowadays, because then I'm ready to go. I received so many questions. I'm launching my new website, as you might have seen by now, because you left a lot of questions out there. We got tons of questions, tons of questions came in. I needed actually to skim through them a little bit this morning, but actually I got my iPad over here because then I need to really understand the questions, so to read it carefully and read it properly and out loud for you as well. And I will mention your name if you put it down in the form, and your country as well, just to let you know that I'm addressing specifically to you my answer. And at the same time, this can be helpful for anyone out there that might have the same question, the same doubt regarding nutrition, regarding training, regarding my lifestyle as well in general, being a fitness model nowadays and for the past 10 years, or being a registered nutritionist. There's so much that we can explore and talk about together that I can't wait to just dive into it. So let's go for the first question. So let me check what we got. So got the first person, and this is Jonathan from Australia, which I've actually been in Australia a couple of years ago, and I can't wait to go back. And I love the country. I was in Sydney. I got some friends in Melbourne as well, and in the Gold Coast, and they always calling me out there. But I hope to be able to go soon, because I love that place, man, and it's just great. But apart from that, the question is by Jonathan. So give us some tips on how to build a six-pack within a short time. So, well, Jonathan, I guess you're not the only one having this interest. There's a lot of people that are interested mainly in abs, because, of course, when we look at a well-balanced and aesthetic physiques, then the abs are always at the center of that physique and the main spot that actually draws attention. So I believe that that's really important to have well-defined abs, but at the same time, very few people know how to do it properly. There's a lot of people doing tons of crunches and tons of abs exercises at the gym, and still they're not able to see their abs. Why? Well, because diet, it's a lot to it. So diet is the most important thing that you should have in place, and you should nail to have that great six-pack. Because if you think about it, it's just a simple thing. So if you have a good diet and then you decrease that fat stores that you have around your belly mainly, then your skin become thinner because we're burning more fat. So if your skin is thinner, then it's revealing more muscles that you got underneath. So sometimes it's not actually helpful to do thousands of abs every single day, but you should just focus more in the kitchen, eating clean and eating a proper diet. And of course, you can link that to training. And regarding training, just a couple words about that. I don't tend to go heavy. I don't tend to use a lot of weights. I see a lot of people using machines and go with crazy weights just to train their abs. But the problem with that is that it's going to increase your overall thickness of that area of muscles. And as you know, your obliques as well are part of your abs. So if you increase thickness on your obliques, then your waist becomes wider. And we don't want that because of that V taper that we're looking for in an aesthetic and pleasing physique. So being a professional athlete myself, I always need to look for the perfect symmetry and proportion of my physique. So that's why I tend to just use body weight when I do my abs workout. And then I really do my homework while I'm at the gym and in the kitchen. So make sure that your diet is on point to see your abs quickly. And then you just need to understand if you're someone that looks better and get leaner, decreasing your carbs intake, or decreasing your protein and keeping a medium to a high carbs intake. So people work differently. So that's why I always advise you guys to work closely with a nutritionist that actually understands your point straight away and knows what's best for you. But long story short, the answer to this question is stay on track with your diet and train your abs regularly. I would advise 2 to 3 times a week training abs, sometimes before your workout. That's what I usually do, because if you pre-stress or pre-exhaust your abs in the beginning of your workouts, then in every single exercise that you will do later, whether you're training chest, back, shoulders, or whatever it is, then to balance yourself and to breathe while you're doing this exercise, then you need your abs. So if your core is always engaged and already engaged from the beginning, then they work harder and better. So that means that you grow your abs a bit quicker than if you do your abs at the end of your workout. So this is just a little tip and a little secret that I can tell you because I use it myself. So thank you, Jonathan, for your question, and I hope that answers it fully. So, second friend that sent a question in, it's hard to read it because I think he used like a translator, but I really appreciate you guys from all over the world, and I just love it the way it is. And so if you just want to send it in your own language as well, we will translate it. And I love learning languages, and I love to actually grasp that meaning of the questions that you're asking me, guys. So don't be afraid of writing in your own language as well, and try as well to have a little English translation. But I really appreciate the effort of translating it already to submit your questions. So this is Rajad from Pakistan. So Rajad asks, how many years what you eat for the morning coffee is lunch is dinner? So I would interpret it in a way where how many years do I train? So that would be a question. And then secondly, what do you eat for the morning? Coffee is lunch is dinner. So meaning maybe if I have a coffee at lunch and dinner and in the morning, or maybe what I eat in those 3 main meals. So firstly, how many years have I been training? Well, I've been lifting weights for 10 years right now. So I've been into weightlifting for 10 years, but I've been involved and I've been playing sports since I was a little kid. So that kind of shaped my whole physique. I jumped from fencing to horse riding to swimming to rugby to soccer to track and field. I was pretty fast in 100 meters and 110 meters hurdles, tracks and races. And then I was a Greco-Roman wrestler as well. That was a big time sport for me. And then I jumped into fitness. So when I was 15 and I started into wrestling, that's when I started lifting weights. So lifting for about 10 years right now. Morning, coffee, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, so I don't have coffee. And a lot of people ask me, why can you not have coffee and actually be able to function? Or how are you an Italian and you're not liking or drinking coffee? It's not that I don't like coffee, but I actually like to keep the benefits of coffee and caffeine as a stimulant ready for when I need it fully. So meaning that if I have a big exam coming up and I need to study or I really need to focus for a photo shoot or for a training session, then if your body is not used to have caffeine every single day or maybe 2 or 3 times a day, then your caffeine and your body will respond to that caffeine and stimulus so much better. Otherwise, after a long period that you're taking coffee on a regular basis, then you need a higher amount of coffee just to reach the same benefits. And that does not go to your receptors as well. So it's always good to train your body to be able to recognize all these nutrients and molecules as soon as they are in your body. So that's why I avoid getting coffee when I don't need it. So not morning, not lunch, and not dinner. In terms of the diet, then we'll be going more in details as we go along with my website. So I encourage you, Rajad, to keep an eye out on my website for big news coming up regarding diet plans, regarding training plans, regarding all these little secrets and tips, and some coffee will be in it as well. So if you love that, just stay tuned. And thank you for your question again. So we got James from Alabama. So James, thank you for your question. The question is, any hobbies outside of fitness? Well, I have so many hobbies. I'm so curious and passionate about almost everything, that I got so into something when it's new and when it interests me that I need to actually understand it and I need to actually go for it. So I love reading. I love reading a lot of psychology books. I love reading a lot of technical books. But lately, if I was in the mood, then I went for some poetry, and it's just completely different. But then I switched to philosophy as well, just to actually open my mind and see maybe the same thing from a different perspective. And I believe that's really important, and that's really powerful, because sometimes you just can't go down like a one-way street. You actually need to look at something from all different angles just to understand it better and to have your own idea and be critical about what you're actually learning or looking for. So those are my hobbies when I'm traveling, because I'm always on a plane and I'm always traveling the world. So reading is great, and reading actually gets me relaxed. I'm not big on maybe on TV and reality shows or movies or whatever, or soap operas and series episodes or whatever, because I find it boring after a while. I like to be engaged. I like to be actively engaged in something, in some actions or something that I'm doing. So for me, reading is still better than maybe watching a movie, because I feel that I'm actively doing something instead of just sitting on the sofa and watching someone else doing it. Not that I don't like movies, but at the same time, I love to actually maybe use my imagination while I'm reading something to create maybe my inner picture in my head. So that keeps me more motivated, and it gives me something to be more creative as well, to come up with new ideas maybe for my projects. Working on my projects, working on my ideas, working on new things, that gets me excited as well, and that's a hobby as well. And fitness, is not only my job, is my big passion and hobby at the same time. So if I was not in this career, I would have done it anyway, because I love that feeling of training. So it's not just about looking great, it's just about, it's also about finding that mental place where you actually go in and you zone out from the world and you start training and doing something towards a better version of yourself. So you're doing something and you're taking steps every single day to improve, to change something, to be better. And it's in your own ability to do. And this is something you can't buy with money, that it can't be given to you or gifted. It's something that you're working hard for. So that mentality that I gain from the sport, then I translate that in every single thing that I do, given being university, being business, being my passion as well, because of course reading is so much harder than maybe watching a movie, as I said, but this is something that you actually work for, so then you feel better at the end of it. And then I love everything. I play the saxophone. I'm so into jazz music as well, because I find it relaxing, so I started to play saxophone. I study Chinese Mandarin as well. I'm learning another language. I already speak fluently in Italian and in Spanish together with English, but Chinese, I think, it'd be a big thing in this near future. Well, Chinese is already huge, but I would actually love to have something there in the future. So I think I better get ready with my language skills. So that's something else that I do. And then, of course, little things to kill time, like playing video games with my friends, or just traveling and eating food from different cultures and meeting people and learning stuff and hearing stories. I love hearing people and listening to people talking about maybe their lives and their experiences. So these are all like great hobbies that I have outside fitness, if you would say it. But I thank fitness because that's the one thing that got me to do all of this nowadays, and to get me traveling everywhere, and that gives me that opportunity to leave my passions and to be able to do and live these hobbies of mine. So that's the main thing that actually starts it all for me. And these are all the hobbies that I have. And I might have some more maybe next month, whatever, because I always get passionate about stuff. So thank you for your question, man. So we got Luca from Italy. What are you going to do after Worlds? So You guys know I came second in the world last year, the WBFF World Championship, and now I'm going for the top spot. So I'm getting ready. I was getting ready for this year, the 30th of August in Bahamas, but they canceled it because of course, the current situations and the pandemic. And then they moved it to November in London. What am I going to do after Worlds? Well, this is just one of my goals or one of my plans that I have to do. So it's not my whole thing, and it's not my ultimate goal, but of course becoming a world champion in my profession and in my industry means that you actually achieve that level where you're at the top of your game, you're at the top of the field, so that you're working on. So being the top dog in the fitness industry, it'd be a great feeling, but at the same time, I'm actually carrying on with a lot of other stuff. I'm finishing my master degree in sports nutrition, so a master of science in sports nutrition that will get me on the registry in the sports and exercise nutritionist registry, protected by the BDA in the UK, British Dietetic Association, recognized all over the world. We're working hard for the new website that we coming out with very powerful and interesting stuff, content that will blow your mind, guys. And there's so much things going on, so many things are going on every single day. So that's why the worlds are not just one thing that I do, but of course for you to follow me, my professional career. So I'm involved already in organizing and hosting the Italian WBFF Championship for the third year in a row. So I'm the main guy out there organizing and running the whole show. And that will get me busy after Worlds, because this event is going to be in November or December in Italy. We're just finalizing with the venue these days. And then I would be so busy as a coach because I have other athletes that I'm bringing to the next competition. So last November as a coach, I won the European Championship with my athletes. So my athlete competed for the first time ever in his life, and he became European fitness model champion. So that got me like a great feeling, and I started to be seen as a professional and serious coach, bringing results and talking with facts. So when you talk with facts and you do something, I think actions always speak louder than words. So if I have all of this knowledge and that background and the experience that I have that I can actually pass on to my athletes, it will make me have the greatest feeling in the world, because then I will realize that I can use my methods and my experience and my training and nutrition knowledge to make someone else's the best they can and become champions at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do after Worlds. So yeah, it looks pretty busy, but thank you, Luca, for your question. And keep an eye out for me at the Worlds, because I'm coming in pretty lean and pretty big this year, and I have a good chance to get a top spot. So let's get the first place home. Maurizio from Italy. He wrote me in Italian, and then I tried to translate it a little bit. So what role does supplements play in muscle growth? You're a professional, okay, but who goes to the gym 3 times a week, works shifts, and follows only a correct diet will ever have the same results as those who supplement with various products? Will there be a point beyond which one cannot arrive with nutrition alone? Thank you. So, Maurizio, thank you very much, from Italy again, from my home country. And I understand your question. So, Maurizio is asking if someone not as a professional athlete can achieve great results just with diet alone, without supplements. And if there's a point where you can actually go no farther without taking nutritional supplements. So, what I'm saying to you guys is that a lot of people are relying so much sometimes on supplements these days because of all the huge marketing strategies that all these companies are using. But at the same time, we need to understand that that name in itself is telling us that they are supplementing the diet. Supplementing meaning they adding on something that is already structured and is already well balanced and nutritious on its own. So we need a diet as a base to start building our own great physique together with training. So training and nutrition are the most important things. And then we use supplements because, of course, if you start being serious about what you do, the same way you train in a certain way. So I'm sure that you're not going to the gym and just throwing weights around. I'm actually thinking that when you approach the gym in the beginning and then you start learning more and more, I'm sure that you start realizing what drop sets are, what different techniques of intensity can do to your body. So the same goes with nutrition. You realize that some foods are better and some foods are worse for you. Some foods make you look better. Some other foods actually make you grow more and you feel fuller, you feel more energetic, and you feel more alive and awake when you go into the gym. So these are all things that actually gets you more knowledgeable and experience in your own sport and passion. So at the same time, supplements are something that you can add to get the extra edge or the extra boost to your performance. And we need to understand that supplements can do various things. It's not just one like one only thing that they can do, like just grow muscles. But you need to understand that supplements can either help you with your performance, avoid the risk of injuries, or aid your recovery. So there's all these three different purposes that we can use supplements for, and we need to realize what we need the most at what time. So sometimes it's better for us if we lift in heavy weights, it's better maybe to go for some supplements that care about our health and care about our metabolism and care about our sleep health as well. So maybe some zinc, some magnesium to sleep better, some chondroitin and glucosamine or collagen for your joints. We're talking about some omega-3. We're talking about some vitamins and minerals. These are all different nutrients that we can use that are aiding our process already. And we need to understand that sometimes we always on the move, that we have busy lives, and it's good to use supplements because they can add that extra bit an amount of nutrients that we need to reach at the end of the day in terms of macro or micronutrients, because the problem is that a lot of people don't hit their targets of micronutrients like minerals and vitamins, and then they become deficient. And when you're deficient in just one single vitamin, you can create a chain reaction in your body that becomes a huge issue later on, and it can even impair or limit your athletic performance. So you won't be at your 100% or your absolute best when you're training. So be careful with that and make sure that you understand what supplements you're using and what for. So again, it's good to talk to someone that is knowledgeable about that and is certified to deal with supplements and nutritional supplements in particular, because then they make you understand and realize what are the best supplements for your own personal needs. In terms of the level that you can reach and that you go no farther with supplements, there's some great people not taking any supplements and getting great results, but at the same time, it all comes down again to a lot of other factors like environmental factors, genetical factors, background history, training and nutrition, everything that is related to get you the results. So don't rely a lot on supplements, but at the same time, supplements can actually give you a huge help because they are an effective and practical way to hit your target and stay on track, even if you have a busy life or maybe little time, or when it's hard to actually have a lot of food maybe in a single day. And just remember that as an athlete, even if you're not professional, but still training, compared to the sedentary population or the general population, you already have higher needs in a lot of other nutrients, because you need to refuel your muscles after your workouts, and you need to have the right energy to actually be able to perform the workout. So make sure that you understand why supplements are there, what they're for, and make sure you use them wisely, not to waste money, but to have the most benefits out of these products. So that was Maurizio from Italy, and then we got George That's an easy one and a personal one. Is what part of Italy are you from? Your accent sounds like maybe Bergamo or Brescia. Also, what is the best way to get rid of belly fat? Grazie mille. So grazie mille is in Italian. Thank you so much. And I like George from Wales. George from Wales. So it's just down the road down there. I'm in England. But George is asking maybe some questions, and he chucked in the belly fat questions to talk facts and to talk nutrition. So I love the way you structure your question. But actually, I'm from Vicenza, Italy, which is a little town in between Milan and Venice, because everybody knows Milan and Venice. Some people might know Verona. Verona is like half an hour from Vicenza, and that's where I'm from. And my dad is from Sardinia, the little island in the west of Italy. Great for summer, and I'm actually can't wait to go there in a couple of days, and I'll be on holiday. And that's one of the best sea places that we have in the world. So between Sardinia and Vicenza, that's where I stay when I go home. But sadly, maybe I go to Italy once or twice a year because I'm so busy doing everything else outside in the whole world. So it's not a bad thing, but it's a great country, and I love it. And it's my country. So if you got time, just visit my city. It's beautiful, and it's full of historical buildings and architectures at its finest. How to get, what's the best way to get rid of belly fat? Again, as I said to maybe the previous comment about abs, I think we always coming back to diet as the most important factor to lose fat. Because of course, if you have the right training is one thing, but then if you're fueling your body, or if you're not going into that calorie deficiency status where you're actually expending more than the calories that you're taking in, of course your body doesn't have a reason to get rid of that stored fat, because that fat is there in your stores just to provide energy when your body needs it. But if we keep feeding your body more energy, meaning the food that we're taking in, how do we go in that state where we need to release the energy from the store? So sometimes if we intake less energy, so less food that we actually need to live and to perform and to train, then we start utilizing that store fat, because your body actually has that store ready for when it doesn't have enough food coming in. So if you eat less and train harder, then of course, boom, we're boosting out the process and we're making it faster and quicker and more effective. So good luck with your journey. And let me know how it goes, but I'm sure it worked fine. So George, thank you for your question again. So Jose from Brazil, I love Brazil. He sent me a question in Portuguese, and we translated it to what to do to have a body like yours. Tell me what to do. So I get it. Jose, that you may be pretty pressured to have a body like me because you asked me what to do twice. And I think it's good that you don't compare yourself to anyone out there, because every single person is completely different. You might actually become so much better than me, but the structure, your bone structures, your physique, your genetics, your way of responding to an external stress and stimulus like training or a different diet is completely different, and it's completely personalized to you. So you might understand that you might need to do something different. I can give you my diet and my training tomorrow than what I'm doing right now, and you wanna have the same results. Why is that? Because your body maybe utilizes food and sees training in a completely different way. So make sure that you find the best that works for you and then go with it. And sometimes it takes a lot of trial and error. Sometimes it takes you a little bit more time to increase your knowledge and to study something deeper and farther. But at the same time, just realize that you're doing this for your own sake, and then you're becoming a better man every single day. So if you start to become better and you start to get one step after the other, and you get a step closer every single day to your desired physique, then I wish you a lot of luck, and just work with professionals to get there. So you might not be where you want to be right now, but at the same time, just realize that little and slow progress is always better than no progress. So do a little progress every single day, and then step after step. There's a big quote that I love is, a journey of 1,000 miles a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And that's true. If you think about it, just don't start and shoot for the stars. You always shoot for the stars, but at the same time, you need to realize that you need to get there somehow. So slowly start building your stairs to the way up. And you realize after sometimes when you look back and you say, oh, shit, like I did amazing and I keep going. So sometimes your results are your own motivation. So don't just look at me as your main focus, but at the same time, realize how much you're changing through your progress and through your journey. So enjoy the process and fall in love with the journey. Don't just like look at the end results, because that might never come, because you're never satisfied and you're always changing your endpoint, because of course you always want more and more and more, and we are humans, we're never satisfied. But at the same time, realize how much you're doing and how much better you became in such a short time if you're doing things right. So good luck, man, and I hope I visit Brazil soon. So we got Raison from Tibet. Well, that's a strange name for Tibet, but I guess maybe moved out there or something. I was supposed to be in Tibet last year, and I'm not yet there, but I can't wait to go soon. So Raison is asking me, what inspired you to get into modeling, and how are you still single? I'm surprised someone hasn't snatched you yet. Well, what inspired me to get into modeling? Well, I got into modeling because it became pretty, I think, naturally, because I was already maybe gifted at the time when I was 17 or 18 with a good structure and physique and good genetics. And then as I was working more and more for my passion for bodybuilding and stuff, then I got called from here to there to photo shoots and stuff. And then it was kind of something that kind of went on its own. And of course, you realize that you got a good image and a good figure that people aspire to, and you fit all the criterias and you tick all the boxes when it comes to maybe looking healthy and looking in shape and looking proportions and symmetrical and aesthetic. And that's so important, because you can appeal to the general population, I think, and that's how I always wanted to be. And that's why I'm working every single day to become better at it, but not going outside the criteria. So I always want to keep that shape where an 18 to 20 years old guy can look at me tomorrow and say, hey, if I work hard and if I'm a diet right, then I can get there. And being a role model for so many young people approaching the sport is one of my greatest blessings and greatest feeling. I'm so grateful for all the messages and stories that I hear every single day from all these people that got inspired or got a little push out of maybe following me. And if I was the reason for some of them, at least to do one single workout one day when they were feeling down or lazy, or maybe they were not actually in the mood of going to the gym, and then watching some videos of mine and watching some pictures, whatever, they decided to actually get their bag ready and go at it, then I think I did my job at the end of the day. Regarding the single thing, I always keep my personal life private, because I believe that the value that I'm giving to my followers and fans is something that is completely unrelated to my private personal life. And I think it's always hard to mix your personal life and your professional life. And at the same time, it might takes away a lot of focus from your activities. So I'm really focused on doing the best that I can to reach the top in my field and in my profession, and to be the best that I can be, to be able to always be there for every single person that needs my help, and mixing that with maybe some personal stories or drama at times. I can't let that happening to my career. So I always keep them separate. And I know you guys have a lot of interest in knowing what's going on behind closed doors or behind backstage. Then you'll have to wait a little longer for that. But as you can see, I'm always so available to talk to you and to answer your questions. So yeah, thank you for your question, and I hope to visit Tibet very soon. And then we got Kat from the UK. I'm a pretty skinny guy that works out 4 times a week and rollerblades 5 days a week for 2 hours. How do I build muscle? Having a diet that's mainly vegan with the occasional chicken. All right, Kat. So it's good that you put some chicken in it sometimes, and otherwise being on a vegan diet is not impossible, but at the same time, for a beginner, I think it's quite hard on a vegan diet to achieve great results in terms of muscle mass, because you need to really have that quality protein stimulus to your muscle. But that's just my personal opinion. But at the same time, I'm talking from my experience, from what I experienced, of course, with my clients. But you're pretty skinny, you work out 4 times a week and rollerblades 5 days a week. I would actually advise you either to start eating a bit more in terms of maybe upping your carbs intake, and then at the same time maybe decrease some of the activity that you're doing, because it might be that your body type tends to be skinny already, and then if you're doing that much exercise, there's very little chance that you're replenishing your body with all the nutrients that you're losing and the energy and calories that you're losing doing all these activities. So you either can decrease maybe your rollerblading to three days a week, and then increase your weightlifting instead of just maybe doing some circuits or low weights and high reps. I would encourage you to do heavy weights with lower reps while at the gym. You can keep the 4 days a week workouts and just maybe decrease that rollerblading, because it's doing a lot of cardio. It's adding a lot of cardio to your routine, and it's burning a lot of calories as well. That it might be hard just in one day to replenish everything that you expended. And then just let me know how it goes. I'm always here and open to hear your updates. We got Ronaldo from the Philippines. So yeah, I've been to the Philippines as well, but he's asking, who is your closest friend among the fitness models, and who is or are your idols before you became one? What is your former job or ambition to be aside being fitness model, certified nutrition, and bodybuilder champion? So you, Ronaldo, nailed it in every aspect of my life, and it's very hard to pick one of my best friends among the fitness models, because being at the top of the fitness industry and being linked to all these other great guys, they are doing amazing things around the world. Got me in contact and in touch with so many of them, and it depends on the expo, and depends on the event, and depends on the photo shoot, and depends on the competition. I see so many of them in different contexts and different countries and different circumstances, that I have so many great memories with many of these top fitness models, because we share the same passion, but at the same time we done so much stuff together. And I just don't have like a best friend that comes out the top of my head right now. My best friends, like in personal life, are not fitness models, are from other industries, or maybe sometimes they're even training, because then after I work, let's say 20 hours a day on my career, I don't want to actually go out and chill and talk again about the same stuff and talk work. So yeah, my real best friends are some ones that they're not into this sphere. But at the same time, I spent so much more time with all these fitness models around the world, because work got us together. Relating to my idols before you became one, well, so glad I became an idol to someone, but it's something that I can never like fully realize. There's so many people that told me that I'm the main person that inspires them, and I'm so grateful for it. But at the same time, I just realized that I'm just so passionate about what I do, and in the same way where I started. I remember people like Greg Plitt, people like Jay Cutler, people like Ronnie Coleman at the time, but then all these bodybuilders that came up, it was mostly a great example for me to train, and I believe that I do the same to other people, just having that much passion and effort that I put in something that I'm doing every single day, that I can transfer that to someone and make him want to do the same thing. So I believe that's really powerful. But to answer your questions, I think Greg Plitt was one of my main idols at the time, and sadly he passed away, I think five years ago right now. And I was close to him. I met him in UK for the first time at an expo, and then I know all his closest friends in LA, and every time I go back and his name comes up because he has such a great energy and he impacted and influenced so many people and so many lives, even before all Instagram and before all the social medias and stuff. So he was a great pioneer of the whole fitness modeling industry and world. So we got Sagar from India. So I love India. I know fitness and bodybuilding is huge in India, and I still didn't get the chance to come over. So this is just crazy, and I can't wait now for all this lockdown and things to be over to actually fly to India straight away and meet so many of you guys, because I have so many fans and followers from India, and I believe we can just make it a great time and event. Maybe we can come up with something awesome that we can do together. So I'm just looking forward to come over there. Plus, I love Indian food. Being in London is one of the world's capital for Indian restaurants and Indian food, and I can't wait to go there and try the real authentic Indian food. But coming to the question of Sagar, how can I become a fitness model? I belong a poor middle-class family. That's why I can't afford expensive whey protein supplement. I've been working out since 1 year. Instead of whey protein supplements, I'm using low-cost natural diet, for example, eggs, fruits, rice, etc. But these foods are containing high amounts of carbs, not proper for perfect muscle building. So, sir, being a poor man, how can I pursue my dream? So, Sagar, you need to understand that don't be pressured about money when you have a dream. There's so many people that were so poor in the beginning. I was reading a story of Dennis Wolf, one of the greatest bodybuilders in history. And he said that he got little money, but then he wanted to go and make it. And then he actually went to America and made it. And he started off with eating like simple, cheap food and eggs. I can recommend you oats, veggies. These are all like good, nutritious food that are actually not expensive at all. We're not going for steaks every single day. We're not going for wild-caught salmon or all these types of food. If we don't have the money to afford it, maybe we can include it maybe once or twice a week. And then the rest of it is mainly based on high-quality protein. Like egg proteins are the highest biological value of protein. And so it's a great amino acidic profile that it's contained into the egg whites. And you can have eggs and they're cheap. You can have 4, 5 eggs in the morning, or you can split them throughout your day. Oats is a very great source of carbs, but as well rice. Like you being in India, I guess you have so many different variety of rice, and it comes pretty cheap as well. So don't just think about the money if you going after your dream. And let me tell you not to listen to anyone that's pressuring you about spending money here or there to achieve your dream. You need to actually know your worth and really believe in yourself and go for it. And at the time when I studied out, I didn't have much money myself, but I was so into making it that when I was 18, I flew to New York. I was spending my summers in New York. I was training at the gyms, meeting people. I was studying English in the morning. I was working as a busboy in a restaurant at night, and I was just making my bucks to go through just to pay for the gym and pay for food, and then go back to the gym the next day. And that's how you make it. Bob Paris, one of my biggest idols in bodybuilding, I read his biography, and when he moved to California, he was sleeping in his cars at times because he didn't have money, but he was sleeping in a car outside the gym. So I guess when you have a dream, you really need to go for it, and there's no other factors that can come in your way, like being in India or not having money or having a poor diet. Well, nothing is an excuse not to do everything the best that you can do it. So just make sure you structure your diet properly, that you structure your training properly, and just do little steps every single day to become the best you can be. And slowly, everything will start picking up, and everything will actually be a whole thing at the end. Like it's hard to understand it right now, and I'm sure that you won't believe me. But one day you realize that you achieved it already, and you didn't even notice it because you worked so hard for it. Then you forgot just to look at the final goal, and then you started to realize that became your lifestyle and your way of living, and you just want to go with it. So you'll achieve so much better results than you're already thinking. But never think that not having money for something is the main cause of failing, because you're not a failure, you are a success, and you need to understand this every single day, know your worth, and go for it. And I wish you all the best. And I hope when I come to India, I'll see you, we have a workout together, and by that time, you'll be a famous fitness model in your country and hopefully internationally. So go for it and enjoy your workouts now, and go and cook dinner later. So we got Giuseppe from Italy. Is it possible to lose weight only with diet without doing sports? Thank you. Well, it's possible to lose weight. I have so many clients that lose weight just with a well-structured and nutrition plan. But at the same time, I advise people to use training just to make the whole process faster and increase the rate at what your body is actually burning fat. So if you include your training, then you're expending more calories and you lose fat faster. I'm going a bit faster with the questions now because we have so many, and this session is already so long, and we're going to do so much more in the future. And I'm sorry, guys, but I picked them out randomly among the tons of questions we received in the website. And then we got Neil from the UK. I have a hernia around my belly button. If I went on a healthy diet and took on exercise, would it help, or the hernia, or make it worse? Well, Neil, first you need to talk to your doctors. I'm not the best person to advise on that, but at the same time, nutritious diet will always make your body working better in recovering from injuries that you get along the way. And at the same time, you might need to consider wearing a belt when you're training, because that will keep actually your hernia stable and not to make it worse when you're training. So those belts that you use for weightlifting. And at the same time, be careful with all these abs movements and stuff, because that's where you're really pushing a hernia. But if you talk to your doctor and you structure it properly, then you'll be able to train and become actually stronger as well on your core, so to avoid any further injuries to that area. And good luck with it. Dominic from Italy. Hey, Diego, I don't know English well, but this is, I am writing to you in Italian. According to you, is it true that you have to train more back and biceps than chest and triceps? I read a couple of times that the back must be trained twice as much, otherwise you risk posture problem. What do you say? Well, Dominic, I always structure my weekly routine for a muscle group per day. And then whenever I have a weak part, then I train it twice a day, closest to a show. So it's not mainly back all the time, but I get my clients to train back once a week, and it works perfectly fine for them. Regarding your postures, I think you need to actually train yourself to be really high up when you walk every single day. And every time maybe you do some chest, it's good to overcompensate as well with some back. So otherwise, at the same time, a lot of people are really bended over, where if you just train your back, your lats will be stronger, and they will keep your overall posture up taller and stronger. So if you train your traps and your lower back and your lats, then you become better as well every time you walk around and stay tall and get your chest out all the time. And that's the posture that you should assume as well when you're training and doing exercises at the gym. So yeah, it's a fad. It's not true that you need to train back twice a week, but if you have a weak body part being back, then you might include back twice a week just for the purpose of bringing it up, not just because it helps with your posture. Argent from Montenegro. I hope I spell your name right. I am one person with dialysis. Have you any plans for persons in dialysis? with respect. Well, thank you very much for your question. This is a really, there's another delicate topic, but what I can advise you is to a renal dietitian. So a renal dietitian is a dietitian that specifically deals with renal problems or kidney problems, if we want to say it this way. On the top of my head, the first suggestions are to be careful with foods high in potassium and sodium, because they can increase pressure on your sodium and potassium pump in your kidneys. And at the same time, watch the amount of liquids that you're using. So if you're drinking too much, then your kidneys are actually under pressure more, because they need to clean out this amount of fluids every time you drink a lot. Lastly, they tell you to limit the protein intake, because a lot of protein will actually have excess pressure on your kidneys. But at the same time, with the amount of protein that you're taking in, because we can't go on zero protein, we need to have proteins for all the biological purposes and benefits that they have. Just make sure you eat lean, good quality proteins, so they have less of a waste to be cleared by the kidneys. So if you're aiming for lean beef, eggs, good quality fish, good quality poultry like chicken, maybe corn-fed chicken, grass-fed beef, all these protein sources are very high quality. And avoid maybe pork meat, avoid sausages, avoid processed meat, avoid bacon. All these sort of meats are the ones that actually create more and more waste in your body that then needs to be cleared by your kidneys. So putting your kidneys at a crazy pressure is not the best way to do it, and it might worsen your problem. So listen to my advice, go to a renal dietitian and follow his directions to not worsen the problem, but to keep you under control. Plus, physical activity will actually do a lot of good to you, feeling stronger and feeling better in fighting off your condition. So good luck again with your existing condition, and I hope you get better. Edwin from the United States. Again, United States, I've been to so many places in the United States, and I know you guys mainly follow me from the United States. So I'm glad that we have some questions from the US. And this guy is asking me, do you feel you have reached your highest peak in your career? Well, Edwin, the thing with me is that I'm never satisfied, as I said before, and I don't see that. I always feel that I never achieved anything. Sometimes my close friends and my family say, well, look back at what you've done. You've done so much. You've done covers, you've done degrees, you became champions, you won competitions, you done so many things, you impacted people's lives. Yeah, but at the same time, I feel that this is the right way to do it. And this is the only way that I feel that I'm actually living a worthwhile life, and I'm moving forward. And I think this is very powerful. And I believe that this is my mission, and giving value to people out there and being able to be a sport ambassador and fitness enthusiast that got the privilege of changing people's lives. I think this is just great. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I have. And I know I worked hard to create this, but at the same time, I don't see myself at the peak of anything. I think this is a blessing that I have, and this is something that I'm working harder for every single day, to make myself better, to learn more, to grow more, to give more. So in 1 year time, I might look back now and say, well, I was so behind, I was so much lower than now, and I'm never at the peak. And in a year time, I won't be at the peak. I'll always go for more. And every time I achieve something, like let's say I win the world championship right now soon, or I got my master degree or everything, I'll feel a bit empty, because that was something that I was working towards, and now it's done. And so what's next? I'm always moving. I'm always going on to the next thing. And this is the way of feeling alive, I think, for me. And I get so bored when I'm not busy and when I got nothing to do. So always push forward, and always go for what you actually feel is right, and never think you're at the peak, because that's when you actually fall down, because you realize that you are not at the peak, and there's always someone higher than you, always someone lower than you. And it's good that you just mind your own game, and your competition is just with yourself. and just look at what you've done so far. It's good. It's good to give you a pat on your back sometimes, but then just keep going and never be very satisfied, or don't rely on what you've done already, but use it as maybe an example or a motivation to do something even better. All right, so we got a question from Bernie Pierre from the UK. So it's always good to have people from the UK because we close. We're here. I'm in London. And Bernie Pierre says, I just started working out recently, mainly to lose my belly fat. It's been a month now, and I noticed that my right shoulder and elbow joints hurt or cramp. Even when I do jumping jacks, I feel the same. It's strange because I'm right-handed, but yet I feel more strength on the left arm. Am I doing something wrong? Well, regarding being left-handed or right-handed, I'm left-handed, and sometimes I'm stronger with my right arm depending on the exercise. So that is not a problem or something that you're doing wrong, but it's just the way we built that some areas of our bodies, some sides are better than others. Some people have a better maybe left pack than the right pack, or shoulders or arms or legs. It depends on a lot of factors like your posture, the way that you're training, your previous injuries as well, injury history that you might have done maybe since you're a kid. So a lot of things are impacting the proper form and technique, but at the same time I would advise you maybe to take a couple of weeks off from that stress that you're constantly putting your shoulders at. So to recover maybe from the inside of your tendons and not just your muscles, but sometimes it might be a problem related to your tendons and the way that these tendons are attached to your bones, and some little recovery won't do anything to it because it just relaxes the muscle. So to heal your tendons and ligaments and joints in general, it takes a longer time than muscle because it's really hard to get that blood supply of nutrients that usually aids the recovery process to these areas. So it took me almost a year to go over our tenosynovitis, which is something that impacts your thumb tendon, and I couldn't train heavy for so long, and I was really caring about my health with joint supplements, and I was trying to not move it, or maybe move it as little as possible, even though I'm left-handed, as I said. So sometimes don't be pissed off because you have to stop. It's better to stop and take your break now before it gets worse, and then go back on your full potential as soon as possible. But good luck with that. Thank you for your question. Francesca from Italy, she's asking, do you make yourself a cup in the morning? Well, I guess I assume she's asking about a cup of coffee. And as I said, maybe in some previous questions, I might be the only Italian who doesn't regularly drink coffee. It's not that I don't like coffee, but again, I said before in some previous questions that I would keep the full benefits of the stimulus of coffee for the right moments, either for an exam or before a crazy workout, or when I need to be more alert or active. So thank you, Francesca, for your question, but I don't have a cup in the morning. Maybe I have a teacup sometimes, as a good English person does, but I'm not having any coffee. And we got Elmer. Elmer is from Canada and is asking two questions. How would you define masculinity, and how masculine are you? And two, what can you do as a man to be proud of today? Well, it's a very strange question. How would you define masculinity? I think masculinity in a way where you're proud of yourself. So I put them together. I think I can be proud of myself whenever I achieved anything that it's relevant to me, either academically, professionally, or into my personal life. So some people can be successful because maybe they create a great business, or they have a beautiful family, or they're able to provide for their family and kids. or they can have the ability to achieve a long-term goal that they set themselves before, and they work hard towards that. So I believe that masculinity doesn't have specifically to do just with the body and the image, but masculinity is something that shows that a man is a real man. And I'm not saying about acting manly. I'm saying about taking responsibilities for you for what you do. Work hard towards something and achieve things and make things, do things, not just talk about it. So that's what maybe separates men from boys, as they say, right? So boys will be boys and men are men. Eric, Elmer, thank you very much. And Eric from Canada, do you have any plans on going back to Vicenza, Italy, to live there for good? As I said previously, Vicenza is my hometown. I don't have any plan for now to go back there. I believe that there's a beautiful city, and it might have a great quality of life as well. So it's a great place maybe to grow a family. So to have a family and grow your kids, because you feel a bit safer to leave them alone to go to school or to cycle to school or to see their friends in the city center in the evening, which you can't do maybe in cities like London or New York or big cities, LA. It'd be a bit harder to feel safe to leave your kids going around on their own, but you can still do this in little towns in Italy. So I would maybe consider it one day if it comes to that, but for now I have no plans going back. I'm going back once or twice a year to say hi to my old-term friends and family, but there's not much I can do there because my business is based internationally all over the world. So Eric, I think it's easier to see me in Canada than in Vicenza soon. So thank you for your question. And then we got Tarek from the UK. Give us some tips on how to build up a six-pack abs with short time. So this is a similar questions to someone before. I think it was Jonathan from Australia. And I can point you back to that question, or just in summary, I can say that your diet needs to be on point more than your training is, because if you have less fat around your belly, then your abs will show more. So this is my tip for you to have a quick six-pack. Matthew from the UK. Hey Diego, I'm a student and I want to know what is the ideal macro intake for someone who's trying to build muscle quickly. Well, Matthew, I'm glad that you bringing up macronutrients, because I see that a lot of people are talking about it these days, and some, like very few of them, know what they really are, or maybe what they really stand for. Macronutrients are composed of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. The way that they structure depends on the goal that we have. So if you either want to lose fat or build muscles or improve your cardiovascular capacity and ability, anything that you do, it comes down to how you structure these nutrients in your diet, because they are the nutrients that make up your diet and make up all the foods that we eat. Regarding building muscle quickly, I would advise you to up your carbs intake, because of course that will fuel your glycogen stores and it will give you more energy to train harder and for longer. And at the same time, I would actually suggest you as well to find out your body type, because some people might grow so much faster and bigger muscles with a lot of fats. Some other people would need a high intake of proteins. So I would keep protein at around 1.5 to 2 grams per kilo of body weight, just to allow your body to recover properly from training and not going and catabolize all your body protein, meaning that it doesn't have to break down your existing protein in your muscle tissues, but you can have your diet's protein that you're eating that actually go and are used as fuel when your body needs it. Carbohydrates, you up them up again to fill your glycogen stores, and this is the energy that is stored into your muscle, ready to train whenever you need to have a physical activity or doing any sort of exercise. And fats are high in calories. Instead of 4 calories per gram, they have 9 calories per gram. So that means that gram per gram ratio, fats are higher in calories than all the other nutrients. So if you up your fats, it's an easy and quick way of upping a lot of calories in your diet and your daily intake of calories. So if you need to have more calories in to grow more, then increasing fats will be as well like a clever little trick that you can use, so to eat less food and get more calories in compared to protein and carbohydrates. So it's good that you always seek advice maybe and help from a registered nutritionist that can guide you and tell you what's the best way for you to achieve that goal. But in the meantime, just try these little things that I told you and just follow these guidelines that I suggested you right now, and you'll be already looking better in a couple of weeks' time. So good luck for it. Well, I think we're good for today. We got so many questions and I tried to respond. Most of them I just pick randomly in between all these answers. So I'm sorry, guys, if I didn't respond maybe your specific personal questions, but I'll be doing so many more of these sessions, live sessions and AMA session, Ask Me Anything session. And a lot of stuff is coming soon to my new website, a lot of content, a lot of new great gifts as well for you. Training, nutrition, lifestyle, anything that is related to being in shape and living your best life. So thank you very much for having sent all these questions. And I'm so glad you did. And I'm so grateful that you guys support me every single day. And you show so much support again and respect. And I'll keep motivating you and I'll do my best to give you the best possible value that I can do. Till then, see you next time. Thank you again. Diego Sechi here.